We've all seen videos of creators or business owners being like,
I made $1 million last year.
but there's a lot left unsaid in videos like that. So in this video, I want to expose 1 month of my business financials. This means we're going to talk about how much money my business made that month, how I organized my money, how much money my business spent, which means yes, we'll talk about taxes, and the ultimate question of how much do I pay myself as a business owner? Like me, Millie, how much goes into my personal bank account? As always, timestamps are below, use them if you need them, and let's jump right in. The month we're going to be looking at generated my business $120,000 in revenue. Now, before we break down where that revenue came from, let's talk a little bit about terminology. Revenue is simply the total amount that my business made before expenses. Expenses are what my business spends or costs that are made to keep my business running or generate revenue. And then profit is the amount of income that remains after all expenses, debt, and operating costs have been accounted for. So like typically when you see videos where people are like,
I made $1 million, or my business made $500,000 each month, blah, blah.
like when you see videos like that, typically they're talking about revenue, how much their business made before expenses, before paying taxes, and all of that. So just keep that in mind. Okay, now we can break down where my revenue came from. 55% of my business revenue comes from online course sales and digital products, which is approximately $67,000 of that month's revenue attributed to course sales and digital product sales. This is both for new customers and recurring payments, because for some of my online courses, there's like a pay in full option where the student could just pay for the course just like that. Or they could do like a 6-month payment plan or a 12-month payment plan. So the payment plans are included in that total number. 32% of this month's revenue was from brand collaborations. So approximately $38,000 from that month came from partnerships and collabs with brands. This is where brands pay me for an integration within a YouTube video or an Instagram reel or on my stories or a shout out on my email newsletter. Or even sometimes I create UGC or user-generated content for brands. So about 32% of that month's income came from brand collabs. 8% came from YouTube AdSense. So that means my business made about $9,000 from YouTube AdSense, which, by the way, YouTube is my favorite platform for content creators. I think the monetization options and opportunities on YouTube is so much better than Instagram and TikTok. And then finally, we have 5% of that month's income came from affiliates, so about $6,000. Affiliates are different from brand partnerships. So brand partnerships is when I'm working with the brand directly and they pay me to shout out a product or their business or whatever it is, a promotion they're running. Whereas affiliates, I'm not working directly with the brand to achieve some specific goal. I just like the brand. I'm like affiliated with them. I have an affiliate account and I have my own unique link that I'll give to people when referring that brand. It's not necessarily like the brand and we made an agreement and I'm gonna use the affiliate link. It's just I genuinely love the product or the brand. I'll talk about it organically in a YouTube video, leave my affiliate link in the description, and if people use that link, I earn a percentage of the income if somebody chooses to buy a product or join some sort of platform. Now, if you've learned something new so far, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you've learned 2 new things by the end of the video, consider subscribing because it's a free way to support my channel and help me to continue to make weekly content like this for you. Now, twice a month, every month, I do something called profit distribution. This one thing has been a game changer when it comes to managing my money for my business. I feel so much more organized and like I feel like I know how much money is coming in, how much money is going out. It just feels amazing. This is what I learned from a book called Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. I was right, cool. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Highly, highly recommend for anybody who's growing a business and wants to make sure that business is profitable. This is what I do. First of all, my business has its own bank account, and that business bank account has 5 business accounts in it that I distribute all my money in. So let's break that down. So the main bank account, like if you have your own personal bank account, you might have like your main checkings and then you could open up a savings account under your name as well. My main business checking account is my income account. All the money that we make goes into this bank account. Then we distribute that money twice a month to our other bank accounts. The 4 main other bank accounts that we use are tax account, OPEX, owner's pay, profit. We also have a savings account. We just don't use it as much. That's really where we just would put like leftover money or anything that we want for building a savings. How do we distribute this money? So if 100% of our money is coming into our income, this is how I distribute it. 15% of the income I put into our tax account. 60% of this income I put into our operational expenses account. This account is where most of our business expenses are taken out of. Having this one account just makes it so much easier to do like monthly bookkeeping and knowing what we're spending money on. 20% goes into our owner's pay. This is the account that John and I pay ourselves from since we're both co-owners of our company. And then we put 5% into our profit account. That means if we made $120,000 that month, roughly $18,000 is going to our tax account to prepare to pay for our taxes. $72,000 is going into our operational expenses so that we can keep our business running. $24,000 is going into our owner's pay account. That's not how much we're actually paying ourselves. That's just, we're putting that money into that account so that when it's time to pay ourselves, we have money there ready for us. And then $6,000 will be saved and put into the profit account. Now, these percentages aren't set in stone. Like in the Profit First book, they talk about how you can fluctuate or change these percentages based on what your business goals are at that time. So with my business revenue being $120,000 for that month, let's break down business expenses. That's both our operational expense account and how much we pay ourselves as business owners. Okay, we are getting juicy now, talking about business expenses. The month we're looking at, we know my business revenue was $120,000 a month, but my business actually spent $78,000 that month. Where did all of that money go? Great question. I would love to know too. Let's do another pie chart. 33% of expenses were sent to contractors. So I do have a team of over 10 people on my team now. So that means about $26,000 was spent keeping my team paid and happy. 26% was payroll. So about $20,000 that month was spent in payroll. Now we do have 3 full-time employees, myself, John, and another full-time employee. So a portion of that money is paid to me, which we'll talk about in a second. 14% of those expenses were charitable donations, so about $11,000. Earlier when we talked about 60% of my business income going to operational expenses, 10% of that I always make sure to donate to nonprofit organizations. Having and running your own business is something that's really, really cool, and it's definitely a privilege, but I don't want to take that for granted. So I always want to make sure I'm doing my best to leave an impact and give back to other organizations that I believe in and feel like could use extra support and help. 13% of those expenses went towards marketing and ads. So about $10,000 was spent when it comes to marketing ads. This is both, we are running Facebook ads and we have a portion that we spend for that, and also other marketing expenses like how much we pay to keep my website up and running and other business monthly fees that count as like a marketing expense. 4% went towards legal fees. So that month I did pay about $3,000 for my accounting, my lawyer, or other professional services. And then the final 10% I'm just categorizing as other. So about $7,800 went towards things like business insurance, gear, travel expenses, utilities, phone bill, anything else that would have taken too long to categorize into little percentages. I just put 10% into this other category. But what about taxes? Because so far what we've gone over is 120,000 in revenue, 78,000 in expenses. So one would assume 43,000 in profit, right? Well, we still haven't paid taxes. So let's briefly talk about taxes. And I say briefly because I am not a tax expert. This is not tax advice, nor do I want it to come across as tax advice. Always make sure to seek a professional for help with your taxes. This is just a simple overview of what we do being registered as an S-corp. So we actually pay quarterly taxes, and the specific month that I randomly picked a month that I chose to analyze, it actually wasn't a month where we paid that quarterly taxes, because again, you only pay taxes quarterly. But because I still wanted to include taxes in this video, let's take a look at this month that I'm recording right now. We actually did receive an estimate for how much we owed for our quarterly taxes. This month, our business is paying about $20,000 in quarterly taxes. So taking a look at the past 3 months, our tax expert was like, hey, we're gonna estimate about $20,000 for you to pay, so we're paying it. To give us a monthly breakdown that we can include to this video, we're actually going to divide this number by 3 so that we have a monthly tax number, and you'll actually get let's just do that. I've been watching too much Supernatural. So that means we're estimating to pay about that much per month with taxes. Let's add that to our breakdown. So we actually need to do taxes are our expense, 6. Now again, I cannot emphasize enough, our quarterly taxes, those are estimates. After we file our actual year-end taxes, the IRS will take a look at how much we've spent and they'll be like,
wow, great, you paid just enough, you're good to go.
Or they'll be like,
ooh, you didn't pay enough, you actually owe this much more.
Or they'll be like,
wow, you overpaid us, here's a refund.
So the reason we distribute these estimates quarterly is so that at the end of a full tax year, we're not like, 2, 4, 6, 8, we don't have to fork up like $80,000, you know what I mean? So we try to distribute it monthly because it's just an easier hit on our business. Which actually means our net profit is $36,333 that we can reinvest back into our business. What do we do with this money? So first thing I said, we typically reinvest it back into the business. We have quarterly meetings with our financial advisors that give us financial advice for what to do when we come across money like this. They will advise us on how and where to invest our money depending on what our business goals or personal goals are at that time. Now, if every single month looked exactly like this is what a full year would look like. Revenue would be about $1.4 million. Expenses would almost be $1 million as well. Yearly tax payout could look like $80,000. And then the net profit would look like $428,000 ready to invest back into the business. But to be honest, that is just not the case. Not every single month looks like this. There are some months where I have a better month, maybe. There are some months where I don't make that much money. So every month changes and fluctuates so much, and that's just the reality of running a business. So how much do I pay myself every month? Like, how much money does Millie get in her personal bank account? Let's talk about it. Now, if you remember, one of my monthly expenses as a business was payroll. And as an employee of my business, how much money do I pay myself? On QuickBooks, which is where we set up our employees to be paid, I make about $8,000 a month. But that actually doesn't account for taxes, again, because of course you have things like withholding or federal, state income taxes. So while on QuickBooks it says Millie Adrian gets paid $8,000 a month, that's not the money that gets deposited into my bank account. In my bank account, I get $6,200 a month. That is how much I pay myself as a business owner. If you've made it this far, be sure to include the secret emoji in your comment down below. And if you're somebody who also wants to be a full-time content creator, be sure to watch this video next because I break down exactly what to do to help you become a full-time content creator in 12 months. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Follow your joy. Bye.